It's Wednesday, November 9th, 2022. I just ran down the Joe Michaels mile, um, and the third day. The first two times, it took me 50 minutes. Today it only took me 40 minutes. So there's the NYPD camera up on the pedestal for which, so this way I have my version on my phone, and NYPD and some New York surveillance program has their time markers for space and time, because I never know. I'm at a local conversation, but then there's something that goes on at regional and long distance, and then there's those international callers that I don't know about. So it's just, I guess, my own informal or formal protection from the world I don't know. I have to say today also, there seems to be almost like a little bit of, at times here, I was noticing that I was having trouble with proprioception, starting to get a little, my knee had swollen, so I know that some of the large muscle groups just, it felt like overnight, but I'm sure it was over a period of time, started to almost, not disengage, but become more, less tensile, so less strength holding the joints in place. And that progression then started with the knee swelling, which is what sparked me to notice it. I got the swelling under control, and then I started with the locomotion, getting the locomotion back. When I started with getting the locomotion back, because the swelling took so long to take care of, I noticed that some of my proprioception was off. All of a sudden, even though I was going straight, I could feel almost like a wheel alignment in a car, where you have, the wheels are in alignment, the steering wheel looks the way the steering wheel should in a forward position. But if the alignment goes off, all of a sudden the wheel will turn just ever so slightly, and then that slight turn, in nautical terms, just, it wears the car weird, and same with body mechanics, so I don't know. So I noticed that my proprioception was pulling to one side, with the increase in length and time of not just walking. Like, I'll walk this back now until I'm strong enough to run it both ways, and I'll run. Like the other day, I felt good enough to run part of the way back, but I didn't want to put it in my journal because it wasn't formal. It was more for me testing myself. I made the commitment to run one way, so to build up my strength with repeated locomotion movement over a long period of time, to build the strength back up. And at the beginning of the mile, or the multi-miles, they have a sign up about the story of Joe Michaels' mile and his heart attacks and his wanting to find health and so on and so forth. I thought that was really interesting. I'll try to make a note of it on my way back, as far as storyline goes in the local area. So I was also having trouble because proprioception was off. My head kept wanting to go down to look at my feet and my body alignment, almost like a natural reaction, to make sure that when I step, I was stepping in line. I noticed that I was making that kind of a mistake. So I was trying to keep my head up and run, and keep balance. And I noticed that was a little more difficult over the past few days. It's gotten better. Really walking, it was difficult. And just so easy, like, to fall out of balance right now. So it's just frightening again. I don't know if it's something all of a sudden. I don't know if it's just now I just have this hypervigilance or hyper awareness. I'm not quite clear on it. I just know that it's happening. I looked for a neuromuscular doctor yesterday on the MaxiPad internet that I have, and the insurance company had two, but one was an ocular. When I called, it was an ocular specialist, even though it was listed. So there's all these mistakes in there, just putting up more barriers, more. It's really frustrating. I mean, these people are paid to do a job. Why don't they ever do it right? Just saying. So I don't know how to get a scan to make sure that it's nothing cranial or some kind of internal mechanics. I don't know what kind of doctor you even see on that, so I'll have to think on that a little bit more. But it's not like it's readily available, and it's not like it's easily accessible. I asked the primary care doctor last time I was there, but she kind of brushed the question off, and so I don't know what to do about that. It's really frustrating. I have to rely on their medical whatever. It's star 1978, star 378 for Cattaruzza. So today's my third day with this long run, and I decreased my time from 50 minutes, which is like a 20-minute mile, down to 40 minutes. And I just think about this, and it goes back to when we had the Ronald Reagan fitness test, and we got those awards as kids for like the symbol of the bird and the president, like the importance of the father of the nation, and our importance here as children, and our whatever, our homeland, I suppose. I thought that there were two qualifiers. I got in under the first qualifier on field day. I was always like lead runner for my team. And I really thought that it had to be somewhere in like under 8 minutes or under 10-minute mile for the qualifier. So just as a 44-year-old, in the way that, I mean, like, there's been no career development, there's been no opportunity. I mean, it's been really pathetic. And then there's no, like, health integration where they promote staying healthy. It's like, it's almost like a trade-off. You got to give up your health in order to make money, or you can't survive. That's what it feels like. But now I can't even make money, and my health is still not working out right. So now I'm relying on my parents again to try to get my health back. It's really, like, sad how they built the future for the children, and then there's all this. So anyhow, so I'm thinking about, like, within that original field, with somebody from, like, presidential level taking an interest in the school that I was in, or elementary school I was in, that it was a, like, qualifying 8-minute or 10-minute mile, and by decade 40, I'm at 20 minutes, and now I just got down think for around 15 minutes, but it's only my third day without having run for probably about a decade. So I'm just going to continue to try to build up the strength best I can. It's stronger 978, sorry 378 with Cattaruzza. It's her solar system locally.